So, from the first chapter, the self from the various perspective, let us try to have the first lesson, which is on the self from various philosophical perspectives. For the learning outcomes of the lesson 1, the self from various perspectives, we will first discuss the different representations and conceptualizations of the self from various disciplinal perspectives. Second, we compare and contrast how the self has been represented across disciplines and perspectives. Third one, we examine the different influences, factors, and forces that shape self and demonstrate critical and reflective thought in analyzing the development of oneself and identity by developing a theory of the self. For the introduction, before we even had to be in any formal institution of learning, among the many things that we were taught as kids is to articulate and write down our names. Growing up, we were told to refer back to these names when talking about ourselves. Our parents painstakingly thought about our names. Should we be named after a famous celebrity, a respected politician or historical personality, or even a saint? Were you named after one? Our names represent us. Our names represent who we are. It has not been accustomed to just randomly pick up combination of letters and numbers, or even a punctuation marks like ZHJK756 apostrophe apostrophe to denote our being. Human beings attach names that are meaningful to birth progenies because names are supposed to designate us in the world. Thus, some people get baptized with names such as precious, beauty, or lovely. Likewise, when our parents call our names, we are taught to respond to them because our names represent who we are. As a student in school, we are told always to write our names on our papers, projects, or any output for that matter. Our names then signify us. Death cannot even stop this bond between the person and her name. Names are inscribed even into one's gravestone. A name, no matter how intimately bound it is with the bearer, however, is not the person. It is only a signifier. A person who was named after a saint most probably will not become an actual saint. He may not even turn out to be saintly. The self is thought to be something else than name. The self is something that the person perennially molds, shapes, and develops. The self is not static thing that one is simply born with like a mole on one's face or is just assigned by one's parents just like a name. Everyone is tasked to discover oneself. So the very threshold question is, have you truly discovered yours? In this particular introduction of our lesson 1, it tries to tell us now what are the actual starting point of understanding ourselves. And it begins really with our names. First of all, when we were born on this planet Earth, we were actually being given names by our parents. So this particular name now is now being attached to us, to our very own self. However, it's been told it is not really the totality of itself, although it is something that signify us. What is important about name is that it tries to make some sort of identifiers or identificators or identifier, so to speak. And although this is very important, but self is something deeper, something more than the name itself. So, as a person, we try to mold this particular self continuously, day by day, and thus we call it the molding in the making. So, our self is not something to be understood really lightly or automatically. It's something that we discover, and when we try to discover, it changes. It has no definite form. As has been said, it is not static, or it cannot remain as constant as it is. After all, the only constant in this world, as the famous maxim says, is change. So, the very question is, have you yourself truly discovered yours?